This is a Christmas story. Not the Christmas story with angels and shepherds and a manger, but a story about that story. Because for some people, the idea of God becoming human still feels a little too strange, too simple, too unbelievable. The man I want to tell you about was a fisherman. He wasn't cruel or bitter, not a drunk or a thief. He was kind and steady, hard-working. He loved his family, he respected the sea, he did his best to live honestly. But he did not believe the Christmas story. He just couldn't accept the idea that God would become a human being, that the maker of the oceans and the stars would arrive as a helpless baby. It just didn't make sense to him. "I don't want to pretend," he told his wife gently, "so I won't come to church this morning." He said he'd stay home instead and set up for Christmas lunch, waiting for them to return. And so his family left for the Christmas morning service, and as they went, the rain began to fall. Not a gentle rain, not a passing shower, but a heavy, soaking, relentless rain. And the rain kept falling. The fisherman stood on the veranda, watching the sky empty itself into the sea. The wind whipped across the water. The waves grew rough, and still the rain kept falling. And then he heard shouting. He looked down the beach and saw people running. He grabbed his coat and ran toward them. And he saw dolphins. Several dolphins had stranded themselves on the shore, perhaps thrown off course by the storm or confused by the waves, but now trapped on the sand. The fisherman's heart sank. He knew the sea, and he knew dolphins, and he knew how dangerous this was. Together with others, he tried everything he could. They pushed the poor creatures back into the ocean. They called. They tried guiding them back toward deeper water. The fisherman even launched his boat. He started the engine and slowly moved through the shallows, hoping the dolphins would follow the sound, follow the movement, follow him back to safety. But it didn't work. The dolphins panicked. They thrashed and turned and went the wrong way. Some moved further up the beach instead of back to the sea. Every attempt to help seemed only to frighten them more. And the rain kept falling. The fisherman stood there, soaked through, helpless. He felt the weight of it all. He knew what the dolphins could not understand. He knew the sea was where life was. He knew the danger they were in. He knew the way back. But they did not trust him. They couldn't understand him. To them, he was just another large, frightening creature in the midst of the storm. And then the thought came to him. If only I could become like them, he thought. If only I could enter their world and swim beside them, speak their language. Let them hear my heartbeat. Let them know I'm not their enemy. If only I could be one of them. Then I could lead them home. And at that moment, carried faintly through the wind and the rain, he heard singing. From the church, up the hill, a familiar carol drifting through the storm. O come, Emmanuel. And suddenly, the fisherman understood. This was why. This was the reason for Christmas. God saw our world, beautiful and yet broken and hurting. God knew the danger we were in. God knew the way to life. But he did not shout instructions from heaven nor force humanity back toward life. He didn't stand at a distance pointing the way. Instead, he came to us, entered our storm, took on our flesh, shared our weaknesses, spoke our language. He was born as a baby. He learned to walk. He learned to speak. He shared our joy and our pain so we wouldn't be afraid, so we could trust him. so he could save us and lead us home. The fisherman stood there in the rain, the song echoing in his ears, and slowly he sank to his knees in the wet sand. For the first time, the Christmas story made sense. Now the fisherman knew why we sing, why we celebrate, because the God of the universe came close enough to be held, and in so doing, revealed in the most profound way that he is holding us.